Justice Jackson?
Yes, so I've been trying to figure out when you continually say transformational meaning and message, and you're focusing on meaning and message, it feels like it's doing a lot of work with respect to your factor one analysis. And I think that it might be because you're conflating meaning or message with purpose. What I've heard you say a couple times is that the purpose of Warhol in this situation was to essentially convey a different meaning or message. That, the original was conveying Prince in a vulnerable light, and so the purpose was to convey him in a more iconic way. But the statute, and I think this is something that Justice Sotomayor has sort of focused on, and to some extent Justice Thomas with his hypothetical, the statute seems to be looking at purpose in a different way. That it's saying the purpose is, are you using it for a commercial nature? Is it going in a magazine or is it going to a school? When you look at the actual text of the fair use factors, it's purpose and character of the use, including whether such use is of a commercial nature or for nonprofit educational purposes. So I think you're actually treating purpose differently than in the statute. So can you?
Sure. So I think we're definitely not conflating meaning or message with purpose. I think what we're saying is similar to, it's not quite conflating, but we think they're related. We think that one way to get to a different purpose is if you have a different meaning or message. Let me just give you an example. Say that you had a portrait of Abraham Lincoln, and Abraham Lincoln was depicted in a heroic way. And then you had another portrait that depicted him in a very negative way. I think that the purpose of both of those works would be fundamentally different.
Absolutely not what the statute says about purpose. You just made my point exactly.
No, you're
that it's not, there may be a different meaning or message, but if both of those depictions are going in a magazine for a commercial nature, the purpose, the reason why you've used it is the same.
Well, let's just look at the moment of creation. At the moment of creation, they have different purposes, I think. One is to show Lincoln as a good guy, one is to show him as a bad guy.
So what is the work of including whether such use is of a commercial nature or for nonprofit educational purposes? I thought that was Congress telling us what kind of purpose it cared about.
Right. I think that's Congress is saying that it says including, so it doesn't say that's the only factor, number one. And number two, as this court held in Campbell, the commercial use is not like the main event, and certainly not the only dispositive event. And that was actually the exact issue in Campbell.
No, but it's a type of purpose. Why are you doing this? You're saying, why am I doing this? Because I want to depict Abraham Lincoln in a heroic way. When Congress is saying, why are you doing this? Because I want to put this, are you doing this because you want to sell it commercially, or are you doing?
But Your Honor, I think if that were the way to the only level of generality to look at, I'm not denying, by the way, that I think you could look at purpose in that way, and that would also be a legitimate way of looking at it, of considering it. What I'm saying is that you can't exclude meaning or message, and I think the best case to show that is Campbell, because Campbell, again, you have two works of popular music that at your level of generality have the exact same purpose. We're entertaining people on the radio. I listened to them on Spotify yesterday. They have the same purpose. What's different between them is the difference in meaning or message.
Why isn't that character? Why isn't the difference that you're pointing to character, and that's something you factor in? I'm not excluding it. I'm just saying it's not purpose.
We think it's both purpose and character. We think it's purpose because the meaning or message that someone is communicating is tied up with their purpose. If I give a speech that says vote for Biden or vote for Obama or vote for Mitt Romney, I'm giving a speech, but the purpose in giving the speech is to convince people of my meaning and message.
All right, one final question. If you, let's say you win on this point of the Second Circuit made a mistake with respect to the way in which they treated meaning and message, and the court vacates, would you want us to go on and deal with the other factors?
I don't think the other factors are briefed up in this court. And so I think, there's some questions that have been raised about the other factors. I think it's reasonable to think that there might be some factual issues there that should go back, probably maybe even back to the district court. It could even require a trial. We won a summary judgment on that. But if you thought differently or had concerns about Judge Kettle's treatment of the other factors, I think that would be the appropriate disposition. Thank you, Your Honor.